And a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the Heidelberg family across Australia and across the world. It is live and exclusive coverage of this round 3 Victorian NPL match between the Dandenong Thunder and the Heidelberg Warriors. And baby, it is hot in the city tonight. In Melbourne, it's 7 p.m. or thereabouts, Australian Eastern Standard Time. It is into autumn, but it's also 34 degrees as we go to air tonight. John Fodinos and yours truly, Greg Blake, calling all the action from the George Andrews Reserve in this reversed fixture. In round 3, it was meant to be played at headquarters, Olympic Village. They've had to reverse the fixture, so Dandenong Thunder become the host club. Jay Fott, good evening to you. Hot enough for you, buddy?
Good evening, yes. It's very hot and we're looking right into the sun for the next half hour or so, Greg. But as you said, mid-30s, so more like a summer day. But hopefully it'll cool down by midway through the first half and we'll be able to see what we're doing out there.
It is, you know, we've called, Jay Fott, you and I have called some games in inclement conditions, but this is a tough one tonight. But if the boys can tough it out on the paddock, we can tough it out up here. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, bringing you all the action. Great supporters of HUFC TV, live action from down here in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne tonight. And we had a chat in the car, Jay Fott, you and I. You're kind enough to, chauffeur me down here this evening. It's not Dandenong Thunder, newly promoted. They're not travelling well. It's been a galling start to the season, but I don't know, just get the feeling they'll be up for this one.
Oh, certainly. You'd think if there's any pride in that squad out there, they'll certainly give the Burgers a good run. The Burgers will be cherry ripe after a week off, so they haven't had a game for a fortnight, so they'll be itching at the bit as well. But I expect a very high tempo first 10 or 15 minutes, and that might tell the tale of the night.
And interesting to note, and if you've been following the new media team on the Heidelberg website, etc., it's certainly been noted that teams have been coming physically at Heidelberg in early doors. Heidelberg, of course, won 2 straight wins to start the season, one in the Community Shield, and of course one in the league a couple of weeks ago down at Port Melbourne. So they're on the road again.
It will be for the next few weeks, but no change in the starting lineup, Greg. That shows obviously the boys are quite settled, and it'll be Dandenong to kick us off, going to the right of your screen.
The Dandenong Thunder in the hoops, newly promoted. Heidelberg, of course, in the yellow success of last year. Gallopolis gallops through the gap. Patient. Godfrey Okello. Okello goes against Wilkins. Easily picked off by the champ. Awkward for Ellis. Swings it upfield. Harry Noon does the chasing and the bullocking work. And the errant pass, Modarefi, too long for him. It's going to be a throw-in. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, we're less than a minute into this round 3 matchup under exhaustive heat here down in Dandenong tonight. Long looping throw for Cahill. Tried to reef it back in twice and in the end earns the throw-in for Heidelberg.
Yeah, just tangling there with Modafari, putting himself about early, but interesting to see in Dandenong Thunder there. The player on the ball now is Roddy Vargas, of course, Melbourne Victory player.
And ex-Melbourne Knights as well, yes, back in the NSL, as the barometer allows that ball to fall lazily into the arms of the hyphenator. Heidelberg get it moving swiftly as well. JW gallops into the front half of Heidelberg. Gallops toward the top of the penalty area. Sprays it wide, just a bit too long for Shawnee Ellis. And there's some consternation. Well, Heidelberg bench...
Bit of confusion.
There is a lot of confusion. I'm confused as well.
Well, the linesman pointing for an offside flag, but if the ball's a corner, it means it must have come off a Dandenong player. So therefore, it can't be offside. So it's a corner kick.
The lethal left foot of Shawnee Ellis from that city side of the ground. Scored direct from a corner kick in the opening game of the season. Ellis has got some running to do. Tracks it down. Wilkins And his 7-eye is over the green and into a bunker. It's actually, aside from the fact that this is...
That's very golfing terminology there. Very golfing weather.
Very golfing weather indeed. 35 degrees here in Melbourne this evening.
And mercifully it should drop down to about 25 by the second half, we're told. But as you know, I'm not known for my great weather prognostications, Greg.
Fraser McLaren to set it moving for the Dandenong Thunder. It's the Thunder against the Warriors here in Dandenong tonight. Ball squeezed down the line. Miller back for Harry Noon. Look, just keeping Miller on as he's prone to do. He harried and harassed him, didn't he?
Typical Harry Noon play there. Just about crossing the line with the physicality, but not quite.
No, but just enough to earn the ire of his opponent. That's what he does. He annoys. So it's a Dandenong Thunder ball deep in their back half. We've played 3.5 minutes, no score. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. Blakey and J. Fott in the evening sunlight, looking right into the sun. Cahill, squeezed it through the gap. Cahill for Zara, and then they'll get the corner. The claims for a handball.
Offside ball, I think.
Offside. Wasn't that exquisite by Cahill to thread the needle then for Zara?
In fact, it was Reuben Way, Greg.
Reuben Waves, excuse me.
But certainly there are some early danger signs for Dandenong. And we know players like Reuben Way and Josh Wilkins on the other side like to get forward.
That was Zara back for Petrie for Reuben Way. Headed clear by Vargas. Heading towards 5 minutes on the clock here at the George Andrews Reserve.
Yes, and these two teams, Greg, haven't met since back in 2015, and the Burgers taking out both games that occasion, 5-1 and 6-1.
Cahill shields the body well, sweeps the ball back for Petrie. And Petrie hits the deck.
Yeah, got clipped by Samuel Catherine that time off the ball.
Petrie untroubled by the challenge, just pulls up the socks and wants to get on with it from the free kick from just in front of our broadcast position. Jumping Jack Petrie. Takes 3 or 4 spots of the ball. Again, looking into that sunlight. It's heading towards the horizon. Petrie, stutter step. Deep, dangerous ball. Pace was up there. Harry Noon's down. Cleared by Vargas. Oh, he's got his head to it, but Barnes picks it up and shoots it outside for Okello for the Thunder. Okello again, we'll get a second look. Barnes, corralled. Barnes does well under pressure, or does he? Heidelberg force it away. Ellis caresses it into the path of Zara. Double team, second of the double team, put him to ground. No call by the referee, Chavo, for Reuben Way. Here's your prediction for the year, isn't he, Alex Chavo? Harry Noon, wide right, looks up, first time. Cannons off Roddy Vargas, who's been in everything early on.
Yeah, just look for Scarvo and Harry Noon to interchange there. One will drop off and one will push forward. As you saw that time, Scarvo dropping deep and Harry Noon pushing on.
HUFC TV, live and exclusive, right across the globe tonight. Heidelberg on the road at Dandenong Thunder. Pace. Header in the air. And free kick called against Cahill, which was soft. I know we say that a lot. But Vargas went to ground.
You can see already Dandenong not committing too many players forward. They want to hold their line. Of course, last week conceding 9 goals, including 4 in the first half. So they certainly won't want a repeat of that.
I'm going to ask you in a moment a geographical question, Jay Fott, as Fraser McLaren. There's a lot of air under that one. Big distance, pace, birthday boy during the week. Cahill working hard, as we've come to expect from the new boy from the Melbourne Knights. Ruben Wade down the line. Zara steps inside through the second tackle, squares it, top of the box. The clearance only as far as Petrie. Luke Biles. And again, the skipper. It's Petrie. Pressure comes. Reverses out of trouble. Swept in by Biles. Chavo! Well, he looked as if he had an open look at it. He's got just clipped round the ankle as well. So, you know, wee bit of pain. He's up and about. He's going to walk it off. Alex Chavo. So the end, we're looking down. Fraser McLaren, you can see in the background. Now, is that the Dandenong range?
That's the Dandenong bypass.
That is the Dandenong. No, the mountain range in the background.
That's the peninsula down there.
That's the peninsula. Well, I've got no idea where we are now.
That's heading down south, Greg.
So that's where the beach is?
Sort of.
Okay. Ellis went round the body, blind pass. It'll edge its way back to Fraser McLaren. Been a reasonably energetic start to this first half despite the heat. Not for us, of course, Jay Fott. We're sitting here just barely hoping to survive. Oops, that's awkward. Barnes, great stop by the hyphenator. Barnes was on from the error. And the hyphenator, Chris Theodoridis Petropoulos, was the equal of it. So danger for Heidelberg early.
Yeah, that time Luke Biles with a rare error. The header not quite meeting its mark. And Chris Theodoridis spared the blushes that time.
JW against Akello.
And interestingly, in the opening round, Chris Theodoridis was the only keeper in the NPL that kept a clean sheet. So that's probably an example of why.
So the call against Cahill again, and he, I reckon, with some degree of chagrin from Cahill. And it's, my word, it's warm, Jay Fott. Still 35 degrees here in Melbourne. As Harry Noonan gets probably, you don't want to. I reckon they've worked out that they can go. They can go Noonan and Petrie.
First yellow card. And I think that time was Roddy Vargas, the player they awarded the card that time. And below us, Andy Vargas, the coach.
So we've seen early Petrie and now Harry Noon, the two Heidelberg players have been perhaps targeted somewhat. They both have a quick fire temper. Ellis. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. We are 11 minutes old at Dandenong Thunder tonight. Scoreless game so far, round 3 of the NPL. Petrie strokes it into no man's land in the end.
Just too strong that time for JW, and you can see the Burgers deliberately trying to draw Dandenong out, who are sitting deep, and this is good tactic by Dandenong just to stifle the play.
So Dandenong Thunder coming in off a 9-0, wasn't it? 9-0 loss against South Melbourne last round.
And interestingly, in both rounds, they've had the keeper sent off. Fraser McLaren, who's in goals this evening, copped a red card in the first game of the season at Bentley. And then last week, Sadakovsky against South Melbourne. And again, a mistake by the skipper. But, Ruben will tidy up.
And the hyphen belts it into the media area.
So I think Dandenong will be reasonably pleased with their start.
I think that, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we spoke to the birthday boy. We'll just go with the play. We spoke to Stephen Pace on Thursday night. Remember Thursday night, 7:30 every week. The weekend.
All things Heidelberg.
All things Heidelberg. You're getting it, Jay Fott. All things Heidelberg. Thanks to
us by.
Yes, don't go on about it. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. And we spoke to Stephen Pace, and He was very much along the lines of, really, we can't afford to take it easy against these guys because they're going to come out with the targets now. It bounced off the face of Ruben Wade. Cahill shields the ball well. He's strong in the challenge. Zara scoops it, trying to hit Chiavo. Vargas. He's been really good early, Roddy Vargas, for Dandenong Thunder.
Speaking of pacey, the last time these two sides met was back in round 26, back in 2015, and I looked up the goal scorers that day, and guess who scored 2 goals that day?
Gee,
none other than Stephen Pace.
And he is not a renowned goal scorer, so...
I dare say they would have been from set-piece plays, I'd imagine.
And that would have been back in the first division days, would it
no,
not?
Back in NPL.
Back in
I think
NPL.
that was the year that Dandenong unfortunately got relegated.
Yes, that makes perfect sense because they're back up this year. Cahill with the steal. Toe tapped outside. Vargas was brilliant then, was Vargas. And in the end, Fraser McLaren takes safety first, stays in play. Off the shoulders of Ruben Wade, charging through, and only as far as Luke Biles, who takes the safety ball back for the hyphen. Because when you remember how badly the hyphen played in that last practice game, and he's been near picture perfect.
I reckon he
in
was
the
foxing, Greg.
I reckon he was too. He had a stinker. It was against Sydney Olympic in the final warm-up game. And since then, he's been brilliant. Markellis did really well. Barnes, the big boy, Brendan Barnes. And he just bullocked his way through traffic, did Barnes. And in the end, draws a free kick.
Yeah, the top goal scorer last season for Dandenong in their promotion year from NPL 2. And a bit of a cult figure down here apparently at Dandenong.
He's a very powerful looking player, is Brandon Barnes, the number 10 for the hooped clad Dandenong Thunder. Free kick in. Deep ball. Headed clearance. Moderafi. And Ruben Wade just threw himself into the challenge, forced the throw in. We are nearly 15 minutes old. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, we're scoreless at the George Andrews Reserve here in the deep southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. Ruben Way, too long for Cahill. Vargas. Harry Noon. Been in it early as Harry Noon backs himself with Toy. Only really noticed him recently how quick Harry Noon actually is.
Yeah, just a little pullback that time on Hamish Miller. No free spotted that one. Not much there, but just dragged Hamish Miller back and referee penalised it.
HUFC TV's coverage of the 2018 campaign, brought to you by Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, continues tomorrow. That's Sunday at 3 o'clock.
And this will be down at Park Avenue in Doncaster.
And that is for Heidelberg's women as they go up against Box Hill United in their third round clash. So we've ramped it up now, JFOT. We're now 2 games a week, and then we've got the wrap show on a Tuesday and the pump on a Thursday. It's full on HUFC TV as we capture all things Heidelberg in 2018 thanks to Windsor Management. Gallinopoulos, nowhere to go. Barnes hooks the left foot in, danger.
Stephen Pace there ahead of Stan McCatherine, just doing his usual job with the plomb.
Zara away from traffic, just brought to ground by Chris Dibb. And it will be a free kick to Heidelberg.
Just a nice rasp across the thigh there.
17 minutes away. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers bringing you all the action from Dandenong Thunder tonight. It's a 0-0 game, round 3 of the Victorian NPL. And the home side, after a couple of disappointing results in the opening rounds, have bought their A game against Heidelberg tonight. Petrie. I just want to remind everybody, it's still bloody hot here in Melbourne. Petrie goes far post, and in the end, glancing
off Gallinopoulos, it looked like that time, Greg.
Oh,
Pacey was in there making the run, wasn't he?
He was indeed.
Just looking to get his name on the score sheet again.
So, jumping Jack Petrie down to take the corner at the tree-lined end. The Bayside end, is that what
that's the southern road. That's the Dandenong bypass end.
Okay, that means nothing to me. Just give me something. Petrie. Near post. Ellis couldn't get to it. Vargas toe pokes it to safety. What a referee against Harry Noon. Oh, he did really well. Took Noon out of the contest. Might be the break on for the home side. Gallinopoulos goes outside for Catherine. Sammy Catherine, and the skipper, the Iceman, kept his head when all around were floundering, and he angled the header away. It's going to be a corner, though, to Dandenong Thunder.
Yeah, encouraging signs there for the home side there. Good play in transition there. They had men over, but in the end, Catherine Dibbs' cross was intercepted by Biles, who positioned himself well in the heart of defence.
So corner to the home side. They've shot a few across the bows of Heidelberg. Again, it's Luke Biles with the clearing header. One of the Twin Towers. Oh, that was a cheap giveaway. Zara, well, that's got to be a yellow card. That was... Zara was almost away then.
Yeah, cynical play that time. Who was that, Greg?
I believe it was Almazovsky, the skipper. It's really hard because that sun is hitting...
It's very low, isn't it?
It's very low, and it's straight into the eyes of all the media crew up here in the broadcast area.
Give it another 15 minutes and we might be right.
It's either that,
folks,
yeah,
or we'll be
terrific.
On the floor collapsing.
Well, either that or my irises just would have melted back into my head, because that is some wicked late afternoon. Well, it's evening sunshine, really unseasonal. We are in the second week of March, so we're into autumn.
You do get the odd hot day, but not sort of consistently like this. We've had 3 or 4 really warm days here in Melbourne.
So 0-0 thanks to Windsor Management. Round 3 action. Jay Fott and yours truly, Greg Blake, on deck on this particularly warm Melbourne evening in March. Chiavo spreads the ball for Ruben Way. The little champ steps inside. Short ball, Chiavo. Ruben Way. Adrian Zara has to scamper toward the goal line. He'll get the corner in the end. Will he? There's claims for a corner.
So off Zara in the end, Greg.
It came off Zara, so well.
It might have actually even possibly been a handball there. Nevertheless, it'll be a Dandenong ball. The first 21 odd minutes, Greg, you've got to say Dandenong have more than held their own.
Right now, if it was a boxing match, the Dandenong Thunder would have this one on points at this point. They've really bought it to the face of the Heidelberg United machine that won an unprecedented 3 trophies last year. And here they come again. Mark Ellis. Mark Ellis checks his run. Mark Ellis, the left foot was straight into the legs, into the swarm of Heidelberg legs. Is there such a thing as a swarm of legs? Who knows? Adrian Zara.
Whoever it was, Jack Petrie again in the heart of that.
Oh, Cahill, he just hit a divot then. You could see him pull up. Gallinopoulos. Stephen Pace just caresses it back for Chris Theodoridis Petropoulos, who's yet to concede a goal in this NPL season. Don't forget, Heidelberg a game behind the rest of the competition because last week's home fixture against Bulleen has been postponed. We'll give you an update on that.
Chavo.
Good ball, Chavo. He was just a little bit premature, Alex Chavo. It was a good opportunity.
They swept the ball downfield, Greg, that time, and Shava got into a really great position that time. And as the ball bobbled up, he just struck it well over the bar.
Bench side for Heidelberg tonight, the outfielders, Les Dumbalis, the little cat, Andrew Katanas. Costa Kanakaris back from injury. And Mathang,
Yes.
that's Mathang. Zara just edged his way into the contest. Cahill to goal. And Moderafi out of play. Heidelberg ball in front of the coach's box. And indeed a well-earned drinks break on 23 minutes in this first half, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, live and exclusive on HUFC TV. Tonight's, Saturday night's big game, Dandenong Thunder 0 and Heidelberg 0. As we hit this, I wish we could have a drinks break, old boy. Let's have a look quickly whilst we've got this lull in proceedings, bearing in mind that we kicked off in 35-degree heat. It's abated somewhat since then, but it's still really hot.
30 odd now.
Around about 30 odd. It's a tough one for the place. So just quickly, got some results already in from the weekend.
Yeah, last night the league leaders, Bentley Greens, had a 2-0 win over previous league leaders, Pascoe Vale. Green Gully, 2-0 win over Bulleen Lions. And in the probably a bit of an upset result, the previously winless Oakley 4-1 over South Melbourne, who of course won here last week 9-0. And we've been reminded, of course, this week was International Women's Day.
International what, Dre Fight?
International Women's Day.
Of course it is. And do you know what the players are doing to commemorate International Women's Day?
It was 2 days ago, apparently. Yes.
Okay, they are playing in purple laces, is that correct? Purple shoelaces. Okay.
So that's if you're wondering why that is, there we are.
I don't think anybody was wondering, but now we know. So 25 minutes away. 0-0 at the George Andrews tonight. Kept honest. The champ for Jumpin' Jack. The Iceman. Long enough for Cahill. Petrie first time outside left. Looped over the head of Adrian Zara. And Dandenong Thunder are up for the challenge tonight.
You can see the obvious tactic, Greg. Dandenong compressing the play as much as they can, and they're looking to attack the Burgers on the break. They've done that a couple of times on transition.
Noon Ellis's touch was not as he might have hoped. Stephen Pace will shadow the ball back for the hyphenator. Restarting from the... What end of the ground is that? The scoreboard end, Adelaide.
Yeah.
Where's the city from here? Where's Melbourne from here?
City's northwest.
Okay, I get you. Oh, that was... and you know, this...
probably sounded worse than what it was, but Christopher Dibb went in rather recklessly that time.
Look, there is a theme though here, Jay Fott. There is a theme. All the ground back for Zara. Ellis running away from goal. Outside runner is JW. Can't edge his way past Okello. There is a theme. There is a theme. This would be, you know, we saw in the Charity Shield and we saw at Port. We're seeing here tonight, the Heidelberg players have not only been challenged physically, but they've been challenged physically to the extent that, you know, when we heard the coach talk, and the coach was talking about this. This is part of the lesson here is, can they keep their head and keep their temper under this sort of...
That's the key, Greg. It's physically... You know that's coming, but how do you handle that mentally and emotionally? And of course, the other thing would be that they're frustrated. They'd be frustrated because they haven't been able to really fashion too many openings so far. So that'll be building a little bit in their minds.
So we've 27 minutes out of the way in a scoreless game at the George Andrews on this Saturday evening, and I'm starting to looking across that horizon. I reckon we're about 10 minutes away from that sun disappearing from our eye line, Jay Fott. I'll be welcome. Ruben Way round the corner ball. Harry Noon on the run. Motoraffi goes with him. Noon deep. Trapped. Corralled by Motoraffi. Anyway, through the avenue of Ruben Way, and Way hits the deck for the second time inside 60 seconds. And this time, staying down, Ruben Way. So he's taken a couple of big hits.
Yeah, it's a clip on the ankle that time. Not much in it, but it was definitely there.
So it's free kick Heidelberg. Ruben Way again ruefully picks himself up off the turf. Just walking a little gingerly is the champ, number 7, the diminutive number 7. Ball in. Hooked clear by the Dandenong Thunder defence. Barnes. And a speculative long ball will be an easy take by the hyphenator at the scoreboard end. Still 0-0. Chavo. Petrie. Cahill just angled it for Ruben Way. Zara goes inside, tries to step over the tackle, and again Dandenong Thunder are up for it. Away they come. Galanopoulos.
You can see Greg there again. They're willing to break quickly. Dandenong push men forward when they get a chance.
Again, it'll be the birthday boy from this week, Okello, and away by Stephen Pace. Out of play. Well, my shoes have finally melted into the floor of this lovely press area.
I lost about 3 kilos in sweat.
Oh, I'm trying to work out which genius decided to build the press area looking directly into the sun.
Play the games at this time of day.
Yeah. Oh, Ruben Way. Cahill. Been kept honest tonight has Tommy Cahill, top cat. Gee, that's a good ball for the running Sean Ellis. Draws it back to him. Ellis again. Vargas has been brilliant in defence for Dandenong Thunder tonight. Thus far. Zara. Drags it back. Hooked clear blindly by Mark Ellis. Pace is there, JW. Jumping jack. 0-0, HUFC TV. Thunder 0, Warriors 0. And Dandenong Thunder definitely up for the contest. Ellis for Noon down the right-hand touchline. Takes a cannon off a Dandenong player.
Yeah, just struggling to clear that ball from the back half there, Dandenong. A bit of sustained pressure from Heidelberg. A good spell at the moment. What can they make of this corner, Greg?
Sean Ellis to take the corner. Indeed, leaves it for Zara. JW.
Poor ball in. And again, Dandenong breaking quickly.
I find it really difficult to see right now as that sun descends toward the horizon. That's better. Stephen Pace. 31 and a half away. Scoreless. In a bit of a David and Goliath clash, and right now it's David taking it right up to the big guns from Catalina Street. Chavo. Tried to draw a free kick that wasn't ever going to be called, you would think. Ball too long for Barnes.
You can see there's the only outlet at the moment. They're just, last 2 or 3 minutes, Heidelberg really turning the screws at the moment. Dandenong just hanging on at the moment, but they really haven't fashioned many chances, so...
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Still happy at the moment.
Oh. Cahill went to ground. Looks as if he's okay. Ellis went to ground. He's okay. Cahill gets a look at goal. And the goalkeeper, Fraser McLaren, takes 2 steps. Raking right footer upfield, traverses the half line by a lot. Okello, JW, keeps with, stays with him. So HUFC TV, just a reminder, live and exclusive tomorrow coverage of WNPL. Heidelberg United hosting Box Hill United. That's 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Jay Fott and I will be calling that one from the transferred venue. Jay Fott, it's not at Catalina Street again.
It's Park Avenue Reserve in Park Avenue, Doncaster.
It sounds salubrious. We went there today.
Yes, they had a bit of a squeeze at the artificial pitch there, picking out vantage points for tomorrow.
So, 2 big games on the road, ostensibly for Heidelberg senior men and women over the weekend, all covered by HUFC TV. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. We're scoreless here at the George Andrews Reserve. Good crowd in as well. Heidelberg, again, got some decent travelling support. Harry Noon hitting hope in the end.
Once again there, Dandenong squeezing the play up, not allowing the Heidelberg runners to get through.
You're a Dandenong Thunder player after the start of this season. You get to half-time scoreless against the monolith that Heidelberg United have become in this competition. I think you're going to be pretty happy with yourselves. Ruben White, long throw. Cahill angles the header forward. Vargas is there. So it's a Warriors ball from the city end, the scoreboard end of George Andrews Reserve, which is a much more pleasant place as the sun disappears from view, and we can all breathe a sigh of relief. Ruben Wade with a patient wait. Cahill. A lot of pressure came then from Hamish Miller. And sideline ball, is it?
Offside flag.
Goodness gracious. Be hard pressed to well.
Yeah, the assistant referee on the far side spotting that.
I think the assistant referee just wanted a bit of attention. He hasn't had much to do. Just whack the flag up and look as if we're making a contribution. So Fraser McLaren will take the free kick deep in this, what do we call this end again?
The bypass end.
The bypass end. That sounds ridiculous. So Fraser McLaren from the bypass end. Long and high. Whoa, what a leap by Ruben Way. Hooked around the shoulder by Petrie to half field. Zara's there. Ball picked up by Elmazovsky. And the battle is on. Zara wins it back. And in the end, Elmazovsky for Okello. Wrestling match with Josh Wilkins. Okello lost about 20 metres and then gave the ball away.
Well, Zara's done a hamstring, I reckon.
Oh dear. Well, don't call it too early because your medical training extends to what? Exactly. Well, we won't.
A miraculous recovery.
I was just going to say it'd be the mildest hamstring in the history of them. Oh, and I could be quite wrong. One of us has mozzed that. So Adrian Zara's down.
You touch a cramp, Greg.
I was going to say he was walking. He looked.
How many guesses do I get?
Oh, look, several. I mean, the important thing about you, Jay Fott, is nobody listens anyway.
Earnest in trying, at least.
37 minutes away. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers scoreboard here at the George Andrews Reserve in the deep, dark southeastern suburbs of Melbourne tonight. And I reckon the temperature's dropped about 10 degrees in the last 3 or 4 minutes. It
feels like it, doesn't it?
Oh, it's become pleasant now. Now this is a lovely night out. And we have got game on here at George Andrews. It's scoreless. Dandenong Thunder have bought their A game tonight. And the Warriors might be worriers.
Well, he looks worried. He looks certainly. Zara looks worried there out on his feet.
We'll just keep an eye on that, because ultimately, John, I don't want your prognostication of a hamstring to be correct. Petrie just wasn't tall enough. I'm sure he's heard that a few times in his life. Pace, Petrie. Drags it in then. Goes outside to Harry Noon. Stutter step by Bad Noon Rising. Through traffic, Harry Noon.
It's a one-man battle out there.
Noon against Elmazovsky. And finally it's a Heidelberg ball from the sideline. It was a Harry Noon show.
Zara looks like he might be right to come back on.
So let's go again and say that premature hamstring call was in fact premature.
Yeah, went early with that premature call, didn't we?
I think what we may do in future is actually just give it a few minutes for the drama to unfold and then make a call.
Have we got the 7-minute bleep function, maybe?
It'll be Jade. It's poor dear Jay Fott and yours truly, Greg Blake on deck. 0-0. JW. Throw. Distance. Goalkeeper comes from behind. Punch. Oh, Harry Noon.
Oh, cheeky Harry.
Well, it was on because the goalkeeper was off his line and Harry just got the instep to it. The idea was absolutely spot on. The accuracy was not quite so.
Just keep an eye on Adrian Zara. And in fact, a lot of the players this evening, one of the things that can happen is players might cramp up towards the latter stages of each half.
And it is the latter stages of the first half. We're in the shadows of half-time. Around about 6 left in regulation, thanks to Windsor management. Scoreless game. Motoraffi, he's been good so far. Motoraffi backed himself to get through the tiniest of gaps. Ruben Way, detour sign. Oh, Ruben, no, out of play. So I can't see.
He's coming off, Greg. Zara
so
substituted.
Possibly precautionary, do you think?
He's feeling the back of the hamstring.
Definitely. Yeah, he is. So maybe the prognostication was correct in the first. What we need to do is just let it. But he is.
He looked very ginger.
He really is. Yeah, and he certainly had his hand to his right hamstring. So to throw in, Motoraffi. Barnes, well, he's just too powerful for his own good then, was Brandon Barnes.
Yeah, Modafari there looking for the return ball and just couldn't find the man.
Chavo lopes after that one. The barometer. Toe poke to half field. Chavo again. Ruben Way. Got some acreage to work in. Ruben Way hits the gap running. Harry Noon doesn't control it first time. Sean Ellis under pressure. Chris Gibb kept him honest, and it will be a Heidelberg ball.
Yeah, good play by Modafari that time again.
Oh, he's been good all game so far. Has Nick Motoraffi been for Dandenong Thunder? It's what are you pointing?
Modafari.
That's what I said.
Not Modafari.
Well, you know, potato, J Fog. Corner header on Cahill. Troubled? No, for Dandenong.
Oh, there's a flag.
Well,
offside call.
And a player down as well in that fracas.
Yeah, flick on and almost catching out the Dandenong defence, and Vargas is a player down.
Well, they could ill afford to have Roddy Vargas, who has been a little bit special tonight. He's holding his right hip. So McLaren takes out the micrometer, makes the calculation, elects to bomb it long. Ruben Way from behind. And a timely foot in from Alex Chavo. thwarting Sam Catherine. Petrie,
he's in everything, isn't
well, he is, and he wasn't afraid to put that head of his into the danger zone as well. Hands on hips, Ruben Way, as we draw towards stoppage time in this first half.
You wouldn't imagine there'd be too much, Greg.
Indeed. So the hyphenator scampers out of his area, marshals the troops with his left hand, and sends them forward with his right foot. Vargas away.
Got men over here.
Okello to midfield. Jeez, he just stopped and thought about it too long, but he'll get a second look, Okello. Off the chest of Biles. And away, squeezed down the line. Ellis, Petrie. The up and under. Goalkeeper saw that unravelling. He's off his line. Ellis, right foot though. And way off the mark. So Ellis on his wrong foot. It was on because the goalkeeper, McLaren, was thundering back into his own penalty area, but Ellis was on his wrong foot. And it just never looked like it did it. 43.5 away, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. All the action live from the George Andrews Reserve down in the southeast of Melbourne at the, what did you call this?
The bypass end.
Good God.
Well, that's the bypass there.
I know, but what's behind the bypass? I mean,
The Mornington Peninsula.
Oh, well, that's the peninsula end. That's prettier.
There you go.
It's the peninsula end, the bypass end. Fraser McLaren. He's really not been called upon to do too much, McLaren. Glancing header on for Barnes. Barnes steps inside. Barnes dangerous, double teamed. Ball back, Okello, and he zeroed in, and it wasn't far away. Barnes was in firstly, and he was swamped by yellow shirts. The release ball for Okello, and he put it first time. That's
probably their best moment.
Probably
other than
their best moment.
Barnes' earlier effort.
Hey, they are well in it, Dandenong Thunder. Really impressed by the home side.
You can see they've certainly come back hard after a couple of disappointing losses to begin the season.
I mean, that was an embarrassing loss to South Melbourne. They've come away and probably said, not again. It's not going to happen again. Harry Noon.
You can see they've really worked hard in defence, and then as soon as they get the ball, they're happy to spring forward. It's amazing what work rate does, Greg, isn't it?
Is indeed. And
it'll be 3 minutes of extra time, Greg.
Beautiful. So 3 minutes as of right now. And that will be all she wrote for the first half. It's been an engaging arm wrestle.
And the lights now well and truly taking hold here. And said, quite mercifully, the temperature's dropped.
The weather conditions are now quite perfect. It's actually a lovely evening here at the George Andrews Reserve.
Just a little bit of a light breeze even coming through, Greg.
It's delightful. It's splendid to be out here on the broadcast area with you, Jafer. I feel like sitting back and just having a mint julep or something along those lines. Ruben Way for Ellis. Back to goal. Square, Chavo. Ames, and again, errant with the effort on goal, Alex Chavo.
It's probably the right call. He had J.W. Wilkins making a run out on the right, but certainly within range. But that's the second time this half Scavo has shot well and truly over the bar.
So down from the peninsula end of George Andrews Reserve. Just looking ahead once again, don't forget 3 o'clock tomorrow, HUFC TV action. All the action, WNPL round 3, and that is Heidelberg in against Box Hill United. Up and under away by Biles. And don't forget, every Tuesday night at 6, it's the weekend wrap on the Book of Face, HUSC TV, covering all Heidelberg games. As Sean Ellis, the forlorn chase as the ball eludes him down over the line. And then, of course, Thursday nights at 7:30, brought to you once by Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. It is the weekend pump.
All things Heidelberg that night, brought to us by Windsor Management Insurance Brokers.
All things Heidelberg every week.
Every week.
Yeah, I know. You did a really. You're really trying hard.
Might get it right by round 12.
So if you're a HUFC, there's the first half. Hey, if you're a HUFC TV watcher, we've got game on at the George Andrews tonight on this Saturday night, round 3 action of the NPL here in Victoria. Who'd have thunk it? Half-time score, Dandenong Thunder 0, Heidelberg United, the Warriors, 0, and they're every bit worth their half-time 0-0 scoreline, the home side, JFOT.
Yes, indeed. It's as we thought. Dandenong Thunder, after a couple of bad losses to start the season, we knew they'd come out firing, and they certainly made it very hard for Heidelberg, and in fact might have had a couple of chances themselves, with Brandon Barnes forcing Chris Petropoulos into a couple of nice saves, and Okello shooting over the bar. And for Heidelberg, Scarvo's probably had the best 2 chances, spooning the ball both times well over the bar. But all to play for, Greg, in the second half, and Heidelberg will want to lift their game if they want to come away with the points this evening.
So all the Heidelberg HUFC TV watchers right across the globe, seatbelts on at home. I reckon we've got a thriller to come in the second half from the George Andrews. Stay with us for the second half here on HUFC TV. Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted a fist bump.
No, I didn't, but thank you for nearly pushing my chuppa chup backwards down my throat, all right?
And a very warm welcome back to George Andrews Reserve here on this Saturday night. HUFC TV going live and exclusive to people all around the world, as it's brought to you this evening by our friends at Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, with the score here at half-time: Dandenong Thunder 0, Heidelberg United 0. We're joined by Greg Blake back in the comm box.
I was here all along, Jay. I thought I was just scrutinising your job and filling in for me. Giving it a 4.
4 out of 5?
We'll just move over there, buddy, for you.
4 out of 10.
Buddy.
Mate. Oh dear.
We'll get out of your way. We'll get out of your way.
So it is half time. We've got some movement up here in the comms box. People trying to organise where they're going to stand or sit for this second half. It's game on at the George Andrews Reserve tonight. Dandenong Thunder 0, Heidelberg Warriors 0 at the interval. It is now a really pleasant night down in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne.
Just to remind everyone that just about 5 or 6 minutes before the halftime break, Adrian Zara forced from the field with looks to be a
mild hamstring. I would have thought. Yeah,
probably a 2 or 3 weeker. And of course, he was replaced by the cat, Andrew Catalos.
The little cat.
No changes for Dandenong from what I can ascertain, Greg.
So the second half, with the game well and truly poised at 0-0, and that will you'd imagine that going into the break with that sort of a scoreline would really bolster the spirits of Dandenong Thunder.
They'd be happier the longer it stays at 0-0, the more confident they'll become, Greg.
Well, their start to the season has been an awkward transition since promotion. They've 2 straight defeats last week, 9-0 against South Melbourne. We'll get ready for the second half action. Heidelberg kicking to the right of screen down toward the scoreboard or city end of the George Andrews Reserve. And it's a couple of minor concerns for Heidelberg. Both the scoreline and, as you mentioned, that what we would suggest is a mild hamstring for Adrian Zara. Shawnee Ellis. He's got an outside supporter in JW. Doesn't quite have the legs to get around Okello.
Nice tracking there by Okello. It was a cheeky ball, just played with the outside of the foot there by Ellis, and Okello able just to nip that in the bud.
So, first minute of play in the second half, and it's the fiery-haired Scotsman to take the corner at that scoreboard. And big leap from a number of players, but in the end the goalkeeper was equal to the task with a single fist punch away, Reuben Way. Charged down by Galanopoulos. They'll come again, Heidelberg, deep far post ball. Ellis unsure into the path of Petrie, who gets the trajectory just a little bit wrong, and at 2 feet over the crossbar it went.
Yeah, the third or fourth time Heidelberg have been well over the bar with their long-range shots.
George, where's the cakes, man?
Oh, dear, oh dear. I nearly toppled over, Jay Font. We're nearly 2 minutes into the second half of the game, and it's Dandenong Thunder 0-0 against Heidelberg.
On the break here, there's in the end a good covering tackle by Luke Boyles. There'll be a goal kick, and they set it up quickly, looking to catch Dandenong short at the back. So little cat on the ball, Greg.
It is. Little cat stabs at that one, turned over, and a double turnover. Harry Noon got it by surprise. The little cat hits Ellis. Ellis onto his favoured left. Great push away by the goalkeeper, McLaren.
He split the difference there just. Harry Noon couldn't get there on the follow-up with a wonderful shot and wonderful save by McLaren that time.
As always, Ellis was silk, but the goalkeeper was equal to the task. Big stop from Fraser McLaren. Early going, second half. Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, HUFC TV, JFOD, Blakey live across the globe tonight. It's part of our 2018 season coverage. Ellis for Noon drives towards the line, and it takes a cannon in the end into the side net. Lots of huff and puff, but nothing to blow the house down.
Certainly a more encouraging start by Heidelberg in the second half, but nothing to show for it. And really haven't fashioned a real clear-cut opportunity, although Sean Ellis almost beat McLaren at the far post. There's Ruben Way there.
And you've got to say, too, the battle between Cahill and his opponent has been resoundingly won by the Dandenong Thunder player.
Yeah, Olmazowski's kept him well in check, and Roddy Vargas has been supreme at the back. Of course, missing the first 2 weeks for Dandenong, and probably showed in their 2 losses.
Barnes. Nowhere to go. Lofts it long. Okello.
Great ball in.
Wilkins stays with him. Gallinopoulos. Unsure. The barometer keeps him honest. Gallinopoulos through the gap. Okello had to stretch for that one, just not quite. It was about half a tick over the line. Much more pleasant weather conditions. We kicked off it was 35 degrees, and it's now very pleasant. Well, I've got no idea what it is, but it's very pleasant. Chiavo.
Mid-20s.
Noon corralled by Chris Dibb. Petrie. Ruben Way. Set sail, does the champ. Hamish Miller. Pressure came. Miller will come away with it. Scoops it toward midfield. Stephen Pace. Chavo. And your boy, Alex Chiavo, just he looks a degree off, doesn't he, tonight?
Yeah, just looking that time for the run in the channel of was Sean Ellis, but Sean Ellis had made the run wide. So they got their wires crossed that time.
Chiavo did well to hook it for Ellis, who did the same, and that time the referee
went in very heavily there, did Olmazowski. And Sean Ellis.
Harry Noon's having a quiet word to him. I'm sure it's all very pleasant banter between the two. Chavo. Shawnee Ellis. Harry Noon, far post ball, just too long for Cahill.
Carlos did an airy that time.
And will I get him on the break? Not quite. Errant ball really in the end. Could have done better on the fast break. Dandenong Thunder. Gallinopoulos into traffic. Ball loose. Over the top for the little cat Cartanos. He can't make the requisite steps up to keep the ball in. It's going to be Dandenong Thunder. We've played 7 minutes in this second half, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. And it is game on between the Thunder and the Warriors, round 3 of the Victorian NPL. Chavo was cheeky then. Cahill, return ball. Chavo under pressure. Get a second look, does Big Alex. Keeps it on the carpet. Harry Noon. And straight into the rump of Olmazowski. And out of play. It'll be a corner to Heidelberg, and it will be the exceptionally gifted left foot of Shawnee Ellis that will deliver the package at that scoreboard end on HUFC TV tonight. Goes short, Harry Noon. Chavo there. Tries to angle it back. I'll get the throw. It's a little bit of pressure now coming from the Warriors. This is the best period that they've had for this during this road game tonight, Joe Fott.
Yeah, just trying to stamp the authority on the game and see if they can break through for an opener.
Harry Noon.
But, you've got to say Dandenong have been resolute at the moment.
Pace, Katanos, chest it back. Up and under. Chiavo will try and chase it down. The goalkeeper didn't look to be unbalanced by anything other than his own trajectory then. Took a very acrobatic 3-turn spin to the turf with his ball, with the ball safely clutched to his chest. International Women's Day, purple shoelaces, all the players tonight. And the big fella Barnes, the broad-chested Barnes, inside the penalty area.
Great
ball in.
Sammy!
And Sammy Catherine.
They tried the cheeky back heel,
He did, didn't he?
but that's where they've been dangerous all night, when they've managed to get Barnes free and almost breaking through a Dandenong.
Punch and counter punch between Dandenong Thunder and Heidelberg. Cornered deep. Stephen Pace got the header away. Barnes faced the double team. Edged it for Markellis. Danger again for Heidelberg. Glancing header way wide of the mark by Theo Markellis, but danger again.
Yeah, well played that
Dandenong Thunder are bringing some stuff tonight to this game. They really are. Very impressive unit, the Hoops of the Thunder. At the peninsular end of the ground, I believe it's
The peninsular end.
peninsular end.
We've been told it's only 15 minutes to the nearest beach.
Petrie for Cahill. Vargas was with him, and Tommy Cahill not particularly enamoured with the decision. Elmazowski, the skipper. JW. There was a man on. Got back to the hyphen, who stumbles as he tried to clear it. Catherine into traffic, goes to ground, no free kick, good call by the referee. Katanos, oh, that was trouble. Katanos, Markellis, and the hyphenator says not on my watch.
They almost were the architects.
Markellis was through, great stop by the hyphenator, break on by Heidelberg, well, only that far. So, the hero again, Chris Theodoritis Petropoulos, that time from Theo Markellis. As the home side.
Yeah, the great spell by Dandenong.
Well, it's been punch and counter punch. Heidelberg had a good 5-minute period, and now Thunder are threatening. Thunder in the skies. Maybe there's a storm on the way. Chopped away by Ruben Way. Petrie was good. Katanos had to leap the tackle then.
It's the challenge is really flying in now.
It is game on. It is game on here at the George Andrews tonight. Oh, Harry Noon kept his head under pressure. Bodied his way to the front of the ball. Harry Noon, left, right. Harry Noon, undecided. Open man is Katanos. The flag goes up. The play doesn't count.
Great play, great defending there by Dandenong, as it was 3-on-3. But they held him up well, and in the end, Katanos sprang the run too early.
And you know, the longer the game ticks on, the more frustrated Heidelberg will be that they just can't break Dandenong Thunder down.
Yeah. And you can see, Greg, what work rate does with the team. A lot of this game is played in the head, as we say, as our erstwhile colleague Dougie would say. If you bring the attitude, it's amazing what can happen.
So we've played nearly 13 minutes in this second half, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. It's a 0-0 game under lights at the George Andrews tonight, round 3 of the NPL in Victoria. Jay Fott and Blakey calling all the action. And don't forget the HUFC TV Road heads next to tomorrow at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, as The WNPL gets into its third round, and it's Heidelberg United, the women, against Box Hill United. That should be a ripper. JW chops it out.
It's Ruben Way on the charge now. Yeah, it's ripping stuff here, end to end. Thanos now. Looking for the shot on goal, but that'll go straight into the arms of McLaren, who takes it very easily.
I've just won a Samsung television. My iPhone just told me I won a television, J4.
Congratulations. Be able to watch all the action of HUFC TV.
On HUFC TV. Petrie scampers over the half line. The little cat, driving run, shoulders down, checked. Ball, far post. Not quite big enough for Ellis. Harry Noon is the man down. And he will tease and taunt and wait and then launch a left footer, high and long, no one there for Heidelberg. And in the end, a glancing header clear by Modarefri. He didn't have much spatial awareness then.
Well, Modafari thought he had the player on his hammer, but had more time. And Modafari gives away the corner kick there.
And it'll be the diminutive form of hard-working jumping Jack Petrie. Will saunter over to take the free ball for Heidelberg.
Yeah, it's a really brave effort here this evening from Dandenong Thunder. They've really given it all.
Brave would denote that they were hanging in there. The truth is they've been every bit as good as Heidelberg tonight. Petrie, right foot corner, near post. Oh, glancing header from Stephen Pace, who scored here. He scored two here last time they met.
Village.
I was at the Village. Well, thanks. It was no need to actually correct me because it's all about the theatrics, J-Font. We're an hour old here at the George Andrews, and we've still got goose eggs on the illuminated scoreboard at the city end of this lovely little sports stadium.
They've done major works, we're being told here, fixing up that canteen there behind the Dandenong end goals.
Well, I believe the chap we were talking to at half time was in fact the mayor of Dandenong. So he was spruiking the virtues of the greater Dandenong area, I think he called it. Well done by JW in an arm wrestle with Godfrey Okello. And up they come again. Sammy Catherine launched it from downtown. Sammy Catherine, but to no avail.
And as the minutes go on, Greg, you can see Dandenong growing in confidence at the moment.
I have every reason to believe that even a point for Dandenong Thunder tonight would be a huge upset, I would have thought. Stephen Pace. Josh Wilkins traverses the half line in front of the broadcast area. Determined foot in from Mark Ellis.
They're all working hard as a unit.
So JW will get the free toss midway in attacking half on the broadcast side of the ground. Harry Noon with the tease. Tried to release Josh Wilkins on the overlap. Heidelberg ball. And there's a real tension now about the game, I think.
Well, this is where it can make or break at the moment. Both sides looking for that opener.
It would be a heck of a victory for the home side. Cale's outnumbered in the area, swamped.
That was off Vargas that time.
So Cale backed into two Dandenong players, and then a third came over the top in Vargas. The Iceman. Ruben. Looked as if he was stumbling. Regained his balance. Petrie. Harry Noon. Harry Noon onto his left foot. Again, he's trying to manoeuvre it into the path of Schiavo. Here they come again, Heidelberg. Gee, this is a good game now. Shawnee Ellis. And, oh, the flag went up. Well, in the end, it was Cahill, the goalkeeper.
Did awfully well, didn't he?
Did really, really well, did Fraser McLaren. But in the end, it didn't really matter. The flag had gone up, so the play was not going to count. It's knife-edge stuff here at the George Andrews Stadium here in southeast of Melbourne, near the, apparently 15 minutes away from the beach. You're watching live and exclusive on HUFC TV, brought to you by Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. Scoreless game, Hamish Miller. Hamish Miller puffs out the chest and then wastes his final ball. Lofted for Okello, deep toward the corner flag. Pressure comes, JW. Angled back for Markellis. And Stephen Pace with aplomb. And drops it onto the scampering feet of Jack Petrie. Outside ball for Katanos. Katanos, that turn of speed. Far post, Harry Noon.
He was looking for Ellis, but couldn't angle the header down.
Given straight back to Heidelberg. JW will go right-left, and it'll be the Cat again. Andrew Katanos into the game because of the injury to Adrian Zara. Katanos! Well, he launched one, and it was on a frozen rope, but just wide of the far post.
Yeah, best effort on goal for Heidelberg that time. Katanos picking up the long ball from Josh Wilkins, cutting inside, and the shot flashing just past the post, Greg.
So we saw it at the city end, the scoreboard end from Heidelberg early in the second half, and then Dandenong Thunder returning the fire. Now Heidelberg again, launching some challenges in a knife's edge scoreless game. Well, that big body of Barnes won the day. He hit the deck in the end.
Might have just got a clip in the end.
All manner of softness in that. Would take a Sherman tank to put him on his backside, I would have thought. He's a big, big boy. You're nodding your head in agreement, but I don't think you're even listening to me, Joe.
Just looking, he's also got a fair bit of skill.
Indeed he has. Turned around the shoulder by Schiavo, straight back to Roddy Vargas. Very close to man of the match for mine. And the hyphenator, he's a couple of big saves tonight. Reuben Way. Third gear to midfield.
And he's looking, holding his hand up in dismay, saying had no support. There's Okello now, Greg.
Okello scampers after it. Inside, outside, stutter step over the ball. Circus trick. Kalinopoulos. Just enough for Brandon Barnes. It is that man, the big barrel chest. And the angled header away by the barometer.
Got a lovely left foot swinging ball there by Brandon Barnes, and eventually the barometer having to concede the corner.
Took the safety first, did Stephen Pace, the birthday boy from this week, and our guest, of course, on last Thursday's weekend pump. Jay Fott and myself, 7:30 every Thursday, all things Heidelberg every week. Barnes, near post. Jettisoned to clear by Harry Noon.
Yeah, disappointing ball in, and Harry Noon covering that front post really well.
Time now certainly becomes an issue.
Well, we're about halfway through the second half, so...
And the pressure,
it builds, doesn't it?
It does, it really does on Heidelberg. Not so much on Dandenong Thunder, all to play for. Winless in their return to the NPL thus far. Barnes. Oh, that was great work defensively.
Yeah, Shawn Ellis.
It was Shawnee Ellis. It was Shawnee Ellis. He had to wrestle that ball away from Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes just about was ready to pull the trigger, but Sean Ellis just did enough to put him off.
Gallinopoulos. Stop go against the skipper. What a referee. Calls for a free kick by the crowd. Nothing doing. So Heidelberg break back. The Warriors through the cat. Square ball. High noon. Spin.
Working back though, Greg. Look at the numbers back.
Noon. For Sean Ellis. Open man is JW. He's got to look too if he tries one. Cahill lets it go. And in the end, the champ could not make the most of the opportunity. Out of play, it's going to be a Dandenong Thunderball.
I said in the first half, Greg, that Ruben Way likes to get forward, and certainly did so on that time, but couldn't get on the end of that.
Well, the story of the game, there's two stories here, and that is this lion-hearted effort by Dandenong Thunder. It's now nearly 70 minutes away on the Windsor Management Insurance scoreboard, and it's 0-0, and it could not be a tougher struggle. And of course, the other key story of the game is Adrian Zara off the ground just 6 minutes before half-time with what appeared to be a hamstring problem.
So far, it looks he's been the only change with Katanos being the player to come on for either side. I wonder if both coaches got up their sleeve for the last 20 minutes or so.
Barnes.
Lovely ball in.
That's a great ball. He had to manoeuvre that in and not belt it in, and he did it perfectly, but it was the hyphen there. The pressure release for Heidelberg. Heidelberg coming in off consecutive wins to start the season in the Community Shield and at Port Melbourne in round one, on the road again, but my word, they've got some work to do if they're going to win this one. Cahill back to goal. Vargas gives him just the slightest of shoves. Cahill got a toe to it, but Fraser McLaren had plenty of time to pick it off. Katanos again. Katanos has been, he really is Andrew Katanos. Very busy out on that left-hand side since he's come into the game. Sammy Catherine. Barnes. Okello has to look over his shoulder. Cheeky from Okello. He skinned JW then. Okello drives into the box. Petrie comes to offer support. And in the end, it was spectacular, but it's all for naught.
He ran out of room in the end.
Well, he gave JW some heart palpitations then as Ellis tries to edge his way through the gap. Nothing doing. Take two for Shawnee Ellis. Harry Noon. JW just inside the front half for Heidelberg. Petrie evaluates. Goes across the body. Andrew Katanos again. He's got Ruben Way running outside him.
Very casual by Katanos that time, and I'll again.
Barnes breathes in a lungful of air and charges forward. Gallinopoulos hits the deck. No call from the referee on the free kick. The ball's out of play. It's a Dandenong Thunder ball, and in the meantime, Sonny ZJ will get his first look at the action tonight at the George Andrews Reserve.
And Godfrey Okello is the player coming off, Greg.
And Okello's been busy. He's done a lot of running, hasn't he, tonight? Godfrey Okello. So it's a throw into Dandenong Thunder, 72 minutes away, thanks to Windsor Management. 0-0 game. Charbo. More by luck, good luck than good management. Off the spinning ball for Ellis. In front of the broadcast area. Chavo, patient build-up by Heidelberg. Dandenong Thunder have been getting the numbers back on call all evening long.
On the whole, they've been very well organised, Greg.
Oh, no doubt. Katanos. Ellis had his pocket picked in the end by Vargas. Lofted ball. Barnes. Thunder's after it. The hyphenator had to take a gamble. He had to toss a coin. And he got away with it.
Yeah, he did well in the end.
Petrie. Up the middle for Sean Ellis. Left foot. Rocket!
There it is.
That is an absolute
special goal.
Ripper from Shawnee Ellis. He needed half a chance on that lethal left foot. He fired it in. The goalkeeper appeared to get a touch to it,
yeah,
but it wasn't. A touch was not enough. Sean Ellis makes it 1-0 with an absolute ripper.
Well, he got the ball from the pass there and really made a half a yard of space. And you knew what was on his mind, Greg. As soon as he picked that ball up, he's going to line up the shot. And as good as McLaren's right hand was, couldn't keep the ball out, and it ricochets in off the post. And the Burgers take the lead.
That is a heartbreaker for Dandenong Thunder now. They face a 1-goal deficit going into the final quarter hour. Sean Ellis, okay, story of the goal-scoring season.
Sean Ellis with both goals so far.
At Port Melbourne.
In the league, that is, yeah.
At Port Melbourne with a goal from a corner kick, and now here tonight at the George Andrews Reserve. A Sean Ellis left foot rifle special to give Heidelberg a lead. Harry Noon, Shawnee Ellis. His wrong foot is his right foot. He'll try and get the left angle. Not that time, Sean Ellis. Harry Noon, gentle. Calls for handball, nothing doing. JW powers the headed back. Harry Noon. Well, an adrenaline rush for Heidelberg right now. They've got the slender 1-0 lead on HFC TV. The champ.
You can see again the Dandenong Thunder crowding out Heidelberg and forcing them to go back. A lovely run.
And Cahill tried to run the gauntlet, got past one, not the second. And Fraser McLaren, who did awfully well to get to that Sean Ellis rocket.
To be fair, Greg, he might have been just a wee bit blindsided and only caught that too late, but gee, wasn't it a powerful strike in the end?
Well, already two contenders for goal of the season, both from Shawnee Ellis. Heidelberg with the lead.
Yeah, as good as the corner goal was, I'd argue that one was better. A rasping shot in the end, Greg.
Patanos. The fiery head Scotsman, Shawnee Ellis. Coverage from Elamazovsky against Sean Ellis. Ellis, left foot cross.
Had Cale there at the front post, couldn't find the angle in the end, Greg.
Got the angle all wrong then, didn't he? And it looks as if Heidelberg are about to go to the bench for the second time. Brandon Barnes barrels after it. No, that was awkward. Cahill. Harry Noon, Sean Ellis, the goal scorer. 9 minutes left to play in this round 3 NPL game. Dandenong Thunder 0, Heidelberg 1. And are we getting that? Are they going to affect the change? The
I think it'll be the
stoppage
next
in play, the next one. So it looks as if Costa Canakaris maybe getting the nod after missing a couple through injury. Costa Canakaris, also our special guest on the weekend pump. That was a couple of weeks ago.
He was injured in the game against Sydney Olympic and
correct,
finding his way back to fitness.
So Costa Canakaris will get the nod very shortly, I suspect. Header across goal. Chavo had to stoop low to try and gain control of the leather. Hook dropped back. The champ's in. Cale with the leap. Well done by Fraser McLaren. Assertive coming across the pack to drag it in. Luke Biles made it look easy.
Short ball there by Wilkins.
And handball, Stephen Pace earns the free kick. So it's going to be a change, and I'm just unsure of where they're going with the...
Harry Noon, it looks like, I think, Greg.
So it will be the second change of the game. Late in proceedings, 12 minutes remaining in regulation time. And it will be Harry Noon has earned a rest, and Costa Kanakaris checks into the game. The flying winger, Costa Kanakaris. So Kanakaris trots over to that left wing position on the grandstand side of the George Andrews Reserve.
Looks like a free kick to restart, Greg.
Dandenong Thunder 0, Heidelberg United 1, thanks to a Shawnee Ellis special. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers on HUFC TV live action tonight. Katanos. Kanakaris gets his first touch.
It's going to be a very, very, very heart-stopping last 10 or 12 minutes, Greg, I'd say.
Yep, if you're watching on HUFC TV, just keep one more nail to chew on, because 10 minutes left and it's still very much game on. It's a 1-0 game. And Dandenong Thunder have been stoic, have been heroic, and Barry Barnes might be heroic. Toe poke for Mark Ellis. Round the corner by Sammy Catherine. It was lazy, really. Katanis, little cat, prowls. Petrie. Kanakaris got some open spaces on that left-hand side. Goes against Motorefi. Kanakaris checks the run. Jack Petrie makes a long, long look. Chavo made the run. Vargas with the angled clearance. Petrie looks up, goes left, right, looking for Ellis. Intercept header. Sean Ellis again. No call, claims for handball. It's a Heidelberg goal from the sideline. Keep an eye on the clock. 9 minutes or thereabouts remaining in regulation time. Stephen Pace. Petrie. Katanos. Wilkins. Short ball. Ellis. Around the corner. Chavo. Petrie's in. And the flag was up. Could not see the assistant referee from our angle in the broadcast box, but the players knew all about it. It's Adrian Zara just going by down below, and he is he just have a look, Dr.
Looks to be favouring that right leg there.
So I think that may be the story we'll need to focus on after the game, is Adrian Zara's potential hamstring injury and the Sean Ellis goal. So there's some consternation down below us as Dandenong Thunder.
So it's the number 18, Sammy Catherine, coming off, and number 15, Messim Mehmeti will replace. I think we had the wrong number on the board there, so.
Big leap by Ellis, elbow in the back of the neck of Mehmeti, and it will be a free kick to Dandenong Thunder, who did so well for so long, coming in of a 9-0 pantsing, and to come so far tonight. I don't know how you look at it for Dandenong Thunder. We've done so well to get so close, or how disappointed they may be.
Well, certainly the full marks for their great effort, but might still yet come away empty-handed, although
Petrie.
there's something to build on.
Petrie gets a push and a shove, and
somehow Gallinopoulos ends up on the floor.
Well, it looks like he's been hit by a four-wheel drive, but I'm pretty sure he's okay. There you go. I'm no doctor, but he's
Might
okay.
have just got a stud on the foot there.
So 83 minutes or thereabouts elapsed. HU FC TV live and exclusive around the country and around the globe. Round 3 NPL action. J Fott and Blakey, thanks to Windsor management. It's a 1-0 game. Sean Ellis with the go-ahead goal on 73 minutes, and what a goal it was. We'll be taking a look at that, no doubt, at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night for the weekend wrap, and probably we'll get another look at it on Thursday night on the weekend pump, all things Heidelberg, every Thursday at 7:30, brought to you by Windsor Management Insurance Brokers.
Greg, you nicknamed him the Factor a couple of seasons ago, and he has been the Factor tonight.
And the flag goes up against the hard-running Brandon Barnes. He's a fearsome-looking figure is Brandon Barnes.
He's been one of the real go-getters tonight for Dandenong, who've really put on a really great effort this evening. Made this a wonderful game tonight.
And they may be starting to clear the bench, Dandenong Thunder. Cahill had on. Ellis was ambitious. He thought he had a look at that, but it bounces out of play. Less than 6 minutes remaining. And Dandenong Thunder want to make another change.
Veteran Kochari coming on for Zois Galanopoulos, and he's a Dandenong Thunder favourite. He's veteran. Spent a season back in 2005 at Heidelberg as an 18-year-old, Greg.
Your memory retention about such things always amazes me, J Fott. Jumpin' Jack.
And a really good bloke too, veteran. So.
Kanakaris, stutter steps. Moderafi wasn't buying into it. Kanakaris just drags his opponent to the ground, so regardless, it is a Dandenong Thunder ball. Less than 5 minutes remaining in regulation time. Here in a ripper clash here at the George Andrews Reserve tonight. Dandenong Thunder still in the game, certainly scoreboard-wise. Don't think otherwise. Well done by Stephen Pace, Chavo. New man on, Koshari. Referee past Kanakaris, goes to ground. Yeah, might well have been a free kick. That certainly was a free kick. I reckon Nick Moderafi was a little bit hard done by there. So it's a free kick to Heidelberg as we wind down.
Everybody else has.
But certainly not tune out.
So it'll be Les Dumbalis who comes on, and looks like Alex Scarvo who's making his way across to this media box side, Greg.
So Les Dumbalis getting about 4 minutes of game time on this round 3 fixture on a gorgeous night.
It's still quite balmy out, Greg,
It's a lovely, lovely night. I'd love to spend the rest of the evening just sitting back with you J Fott. And
so let's not get too familiar, Greg. It's certainly going to be a tense final few minutes, one would imagine.
Cahill
Just got clattered that time.
a bit of a hit from Moderafi. It's getting
a bit willing.
a little bit physical again. Every Heidelberg game this season has had that element to it. Teams are coming at the Warriors this year. 87 played. Heidelberg around about 3 minutes away from a 2-0 start to the campaign. Where does the road lead next week for the men, Japheth?
Friday night at Oakley.
At Oakley? Well, that's a big one, isn't it, after
huge
Oakley's
game, yeah.
win. So, free kick taken
Straight into the kick.
by Petrie, but straight into the arms of Fraser McLaren, who's been heroic tonight. He's been terrific tonight, Fraser McLaren. In goal for Dandenong Thunder. Battle at midfield. Dumbalis' first touch was a header. Ball out of play. It's going to be a Heidelberg ball. Just keep an eye on that time clock. 87:45 played. There will not be, I suspect, John Foddy, not too much.
2 or 3 minutes max.
At tops, yeah, absolutely. And a free kick. Cahill, first 2 rounds of the season, Cahill has been mauled physically. And I'm not
doesn't look too happy about it, does
and
he?
I'm not saying illegally, but they've certainly targeted him with.
Well, he had that really fine run in pre-season.
Pre-season
and
into
2
the
goals in
yeah.
the Charity Shield. Yeah.
And I think they've just finally worked out that Tommy Cahill is a man to be hardly considered in defensive plans. Ball launched in. 88.5 minutes played. HUFC TV here on this balmy Saturday evening in Melbourne, and Heidelberg up by 1 thanks to Windsor management. Body check by Mehmedi. I don't believe there was an awful lot in it, Jay Fott, but it will be a Heidelberg free kick.
Yeah, it could only have been for obstruction. It was right in front of us, Greg. That's all I can say that it was for.
Oh, look. All I can say is I've been watching the game for 40 odd years.
Lacey with a rueful smile there as he turns the ball over for a throw.
And ironic cheers, and Sean Ellis is going to go in the book, and that was a wee bit headstrong and silly from Shawnee Ellis. Perhaps he wasn't aware, but he.
I think it was just a cynical kick away. So.
Yeah, you don't want to go getting. You don't want one of your key players to get a yellow in the last minute of a game.
Poor yellow to give away.
It really is. Big leap, Dumbalis, and the shot on the turn from Markellis was enough to raise the hopes of Dandenong Thunder supporters, but just not.
4 minutes it'll be, Greg.
That's a fair chunk of time added on, and that 4 minutes starts now. So the equation is 240 seconds. Dandenong need 1 to draw and 2 to win here on their home deck tonight against the team that reigned supreme in the NPL in Victoria last year, Heidelberg United. There's going to be some tired boys out there too this game.
Been taxing and very physical.
Yeah, taxing, physical, and played in extreme heat during the first half.
Great play. Going to win the free kick. Good refereeing there. Let the play go on, and then when the advantage didn't.
Barnes lumbers away. Free kick will be taken just inside Thunder's defensive half. 3 minutes of stoppage to play on HUFC TV. Heidelberg up by a goal to 0. Free kick launched deep toward the top of the penalty area. Vargas in. Skipper got it away. They're saying handball. No call. Pace. Petrie, the home fans are not necessarily all that enamoured with the officiating at this point. And a watched clock. What's that saying? A watched kettle takes ages to. What's that saying? I'm trying to tell you that this last 4 minutes seem to be taking a long time.
It's as if time is suspended, Greg.
Okay. Well done by Cahill to win the physical duel, but then the favour was returned and Cahill was pushed away from the danger zone. The run coming from ZJ, new man. Wilkins, 2 hands out, pushed him away from the contest. It's going to be a free kick to Dandenong Thunder. Less than 2 minutes. Well, it's a hard stopper now. Dandenong Thunder, less than 2 to play.
They're throwing everyone forward, Greg.
They are. The goalkeeper, Fraser McLaren, is going deep for Dandenong Thunder. They're looking in that direction with the free kick. Markellis again. Well, desperation stakes now. Josh Wilkins. Kanakaris on the gallop. The free man is Katanos.
He's got Sean Ellis on.
Oh, Katanas. Well, he had the right idea with the back heel because Ellis was coming in like the cavalry in support. Wow, what a finish. What a game. What a night here at George Andrews.
Well, there was a chance to ice it, Greg, and Dandenong just about hanging on there, but the Burgers have got the ball in the right end of the ground for them.
Less than 60 seconds remaining in stoppage time. HUFC TV on this beautiful night. Down 15 minutes from the... I have no idea the geography of the place. We're waiting to get the restart. Cahill, Katanas, Ellis, the goal scorer, Petrie, Cahill, the factor, left foot, short, Katanos. Out of play, it's going to be a Dandenong Thunder ball. You reckon this is last roll of the dice? JW says denied. They'll get another look. 20 seconds of stoppage remaining. Petrie, up and under. The little cat against Vargas. The latter wins out. Vargas. A shove on Stephen Pace.
Yeah, again, good experience there. There's a whistle.
And that is all she wrote on a
well, it was
ripping
just about
night.
4 minutes, wasn't it, Greg?
It was 4 minutes. A ripping night here at the George Andrews Reserve here in Dandenong. In the end, the final score, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, it is Dandenong Thunder 0, Heidelberg Warriors 1. The only goal of the game was the only goal you'd want in a one-goal game, and that was an absolute perler from Silk, Shawnee Ellis on 68 minutes. The other story, I guess, of the game, Jay Fott, well, the other two stories. What an effort. What an effort from Dandenong Thunder, who were humiliated last week, and they've come back against the Warriors and wow, they've given her a contest. And, of course, the other story, Adrian Zara.
Re-injuring that leg,
potentially hamstring injury. Big blow if that costs him weeks. Your quick summary, Jay Fott, on a night that I reckon we really got our money's worth, even though you and I don't pay to get in.
Well, it was a great ride along, a great match between two sides that really gave it all. But in the end, an inspirational moment of brilliance from Sean Ellis is the difference between the two sides, and that really is the difference between just getting a draw and then 6 points and staying in touch with the leaders. So well done to Sean Ellis, who has in Heidelberg's entire goal-scoring effort in the NPL in the two games thus far.
And both go on the highlight reels.
And both do go on the highlight reels. But the other story too, Greg, you've got to say, Chris Theodorides with a couple of really crucial saves, one in each half. Yep. To deny Dandenong, who might have been good for that goal.
Hyphen hasn't given one up this year.
So he remains the only keeper that's undefeated. But George Katsakis, I think, would be very relieved and happy with the 3 points. Yeah. And on to next week, which should be a huge game against a very resurgent Oakley.
Wow. A huge game tonight on HUFC TV. An absolute ripper, thanks to Windsor Management. Dandenong Thunder, every bit in the contest, all evening long. A thumping goal from Shawnee Ellis settles it for Heidelberg in a 1-0 game. Just looking ahead, HUFC TV coverage.
Tomorrow at 3, Greg?
Indeed, tomorrow, 3 o'clock at Australian Eastern Standard Time. All the live action from
Park Reserve Avenue? Park Avenue Reserve.
Park Avenue Reserve. So remember that. It has been transferred from Catalina Street, and that's Heidelberg United, the women, round 3 action against Box Hill United. That should be a beauty. Then we look ahead to Tuesday night on the Face of Book, the Book of Face.
Weekend wrap, Greg.
Weekend wrap on a Tuesday night. And then finally, we're getting wound up. We're getting the wind up. And finally, of course, don't forget, 7:30 every Thursday night. It is the Weekend Pump, Jay
All
Fox.
things Heidelberg, each and every week at 7:30 each Thursday.
Good God, I think he's got it. Hey, everybody in the Heidelberg family. Thanks for joining us for the big game tonight. Look forward to your patronage tomorrow for the women's game. It's been a ripper. Heidelberg 1, Dandenong Thunder 0. Catch you tomorrow.